So Spence versus Crawford finally happened last night, and man, Terence Crawford really showed levels, and he proved a lot of people wrong, including me, and what a performance it was. After the first round, Terence Crawford hurt Errol Spence in every round until the 9th round. He got the finish finally, and I think that the corner should have stopped it earlier. Spence took a lot of unnecessary damage. After round number 6, it was clear that Errol Spence Jr. is not in this fight anymore. I know we've seen boxers make comeback from getting hurt and dropped, but man, Errol Spence Jr., the way he was wobbling to his corner, the way he, when Derek James would be telling him instructions, Errol Spence's eyes were looking somewhere else. It was clear that he wasn't in the right state of mind, so I really think his corner failed him. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the brilliance Terence Crawford showed in this fight. After the first round, Terence Crawford had Errol Spence figured out, because in the second round, when Errol Spence has his signature move where he jabs to the head twice or maybe once, then after that jab to the head, immediately he follows to a jab to the body. So in the first round, Spence was doing that a lot, and when he attempted to do it again in the second round, Crawford timed a perfect shot which sat Errol Spence down. And this shot, I don't think it really hurt Errol Spence, but Errol Spence has terrible balance, so with his feet all crossed up, he fell down. Spence was investing a lot to the body of Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford wasn't having it. Whenever Spence would leave himself slightly open, Terence Crawford would blast him with inside uppercuts or short left hands, and the main weapon that Terence Crawford had over Errol Spence in this fight was his jab. That was a killer jab. It was a shotgun jab, and he even dropped Errol Spence with a jab in one of the rounds. This whole performance was just amazing. He broke Crawford down from every aspect in boxing, when it came to the speed advantage, when it came to the power advantage, when it came to the ring IQ advantage, when it came to even the pressure. When Spence was hurt, he kind of stopped being the aggressor, and Terence Crawford knew he had him. Even in the inside fighting, where a lot of people thought Errol Spence was better, from the fights we've seen in the Danny Garcia fight, even the Mikey Garcia fight, and the Ugas fight, and the Sean Porter fight, Errol Spence has always showed a good display of inside fighting, but in this fight, Terence Crawford was just too quick on the inside, too powerful, and he had Spence in a lot of trouble. It was obvious that Errol Spence's game plan was to pressure Crawford and damage him from the inside, similar to what he did to Ugas, but Spence wasn't biting to the pressure. He was quick on his feet, he kept his distance, and that's how we kept on hurting Errol Spence. And whenever Errol Spence did get in the inside, he was already too damaged, and Crawford just had his number. So yeah, man, respect to both warriors. This fight needed to happen, and even though a lot of people thought it was a 50-50 fight, Crawford shut down that and made this beat down, but nonetheless, amazing fight that needed to happen. And Errol Spence wants a rematch, and he said he wants it at 154 instead of 147, which makes sense because the weight cut is tough for both of them. I don't mind the rematch at 154. I would prefer that over 157. At least that makes it more interesting, but I do think Terence Crawford would have won the rematch. But I'm just going to say this, I think a rematch would be a lot more competitive. When you have such skilled fighters like this, they're going to make adjustments and improvements, and they're going to keep watching the tape of the fight over and over again. So I do think the rematch would be a little more competitive, but I got Crawford winning again. But I still think Errol Spence Jr. has a lot to do in the sport, and he does great things at the upper weight classes. I wish the corner stopped it earlier, because he did take a lot of unnecessary damage, and that damage can change careers, so hopefully the damage doesn't get to Errol Spence. These were my quick thoughts and a little recap of how the fight went. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.